Okay.
It's
So,
fine. Painting.
so dear colleagues, we are on air.
Traveling.
Painting.
Yeah. Dear colleagues, we are on air in Facebook and live, and also we make video recording for the participants who could not come us and from the first minutes of our dialogue. Today I'm here with you. My name is Tatiana Koval. I'm an employer brand management expert, and now I am working for Central Asia markets. And I'm really great. I really appreciate what two great international experts come today for our event, online events. Thanks Zoom, thanks all technologies who led us to meet in different times and share our experience worldwide. And today the first, Eva Baluchova, global employer brand leader from the Danfoss. Now we are in Netherlands, in Amsterdam, as you know. So the Europe also enter our market. And Ayaz, one of best our partners. Ayaz is our partner of Realta, a group from Turkey and Great Britain. So as know, now I live also in Great Britain, so he knows a little bit about Eastern markets because they have some specifics. Today we decided to discuss about employer brand practice, best practice of the previous year, and also about employer brand trends. Now we are trying to develop this topic on the Central Asia markets because they think what there are a huge shortage of talents. But what is interesting about trends on the Central Asia markets, only the previous year, we saw what the companies start to work not only with employees, but we start to work with talents. Talent management become one of the paradigm of HR for companies in Central Asia markets, but hope that can become more popular after our broadcast. This is very some interesting topics about what is now in the market. The salaries is growing. The demands for better specialists from different countries, not only from countries in Central Asia, is growing too. We could not say, but right now it's a war for talent because it's not so many strong competition. But we absolutely sure what it will be the same for the next 2 years. So the practice from the markets, where I think a lot of companies feel what the war for talents is a current reality, and it is a reality for a lot of years, who invest a lot of money for their employees, for improve their attractions. I think it's really important. Also, we're living in the new world. We call it not VUCA, but Bunny world. It's a new world for us. This is a very tough world for living. And in this situation, the employer become an island of stability for a lot of employees. They are looking for the new ideas from their employees, as I see for trends for this year, what people look for meaningful work, for life of balance, but they start to more look for the stability. I saw it in the different markets, for example, in MENA region, in Saudi Arabia, for example. I saw it also in the Central Asia market. I have heard about it from our European partners too. And so I think we today could discuss the global trends. The trends that could influence all the markets. Now we are living in a post-pandemic world because a lot of speakers in different conferences now talk about post-pandemic world, but it's really a lot of different problems, including Russian-Ukraine war, including increasing of cost of life in different countries because of climate change. I think we faced with it and we couldn't ignore it, I think also from the employer brand perspective. And today I want to discuss what the best practice, how we could work with it. What is the best practice, how we could improve capacity of our company to handle with these challenges in the future and help the people who are working in our companies. So, Eva, Ali, now I stop talking and give you microphone as an expert. And as I discussed previously, of agenda, I want whatever Eva firstly makes your little presentation. After that, you could ask her some questions and make a little discussion. And after that, Ali also share his views on the future of employer branding and also the current, I think what could be also interesting, experience sharing, what the best practice he could see in different countries, which could be useful also for Central Asia market. Eva, global employer brand leader of Danfoss. I think where a lot of our participants know this company. So I give you microphone. You could share your presentation.
Awesome. Can you see the screen with the presentation?
And not yet.
No?
I see what you start your demonstration, but I could not see the slides on the screen. Oh, okay. Now everything is okay.
Now, are you seeing it?
Yes. Yes. Great.
Awesome. All right. So let me get to see where I am because it jumped till the end of my presentation. So here we go. We are here. All right. So again, hello everyone. I'm really happy to be here with Ali and Tatiana discussing the trends of employer branding. I read Ali's article, so I think we will be very aligned on this topic trend. So I will be not going into everything it further. As for myself, I will be sharing with you trends. First, let me introduce myself a bit. I'm a 36-year-old Slovak lady who has made Netherlands her home for last 8 years. I have worked in talent acquisition for around 12 years. I work in agencies, consulting firms, and in-house, and work for different size companies, building teams, setting up processes for mostly hiring success and employer branding. Last years, I have been as well training companies and talent acquisition team. Had recently published 2 digital workbooks on employer branding strategy and recruitment copywriting. So if you're curious, definitely go check them out. And about my role at Danfoss. So currently, yes, I am a global employer branding lead at Danfoss. Danfoss is engineering technologies that enable the world basically do more with less. We build infrastructure, food supply, energy efficiency, and climate-friendly solutions. And since 1933, we have grown into the world leader with more than 42,000 employees in more than 20 countries. So I joined recently this role, and my responsibility here will be manage and deploy employer brand strategy along the full candidate journey and partner with all the regions and segments to successfully globalizing the global branding standards. So let's get to those trends we talked about. So employer branding became a more strategic business function, especially last year we could see the trend. And many companies, I think this year will be developing more tactical activities that can activate overall branding strategies. However, I would like to point out these are the challenging times. We have generational shift, COVID, quiet quitting, great resignation, laid offs, quiet hiring, and all these trends are shaping our employer branding activities. More likely, they are shaping our audience's activities. So observing the world and what is happening in terms of employer branding, I would categorize 4 mega trends, which one we as well at Danfoss, we've decided to follow. And that is create employer branding awareness inside out, create candidate value proposition that is unique, lead consistent candidate experience, and deploying digital candidate experience. My hope today will be that you're going to be inspired rather than overwhelmed, because there is always so much to do in employer branding. Most of us doesn't have resources to do all the cool things we want to do. So despite the resources, there always something can be done, because employer branding is experience we create. It's not an outcome. So let's look at the first trend, and that is building employer brand awareness from inside out. So as I mentioned, our workforce is aging, and we can witness a so-called generational shift. That is a shift in values and work preferences of our audiences. We have over 50% of workforce right now consisting of millennials and Gen Z, and it's growing. So one of these generations, one thing that these generations have common is that they desire to connect with organizations on their mission level. They want to go deeper into understanding all those whys. I should do this, I should work for it. They want to have a stronger impact. And it's important about to know about these audiences is that they want to feel unique and heard and seen. So the first megatrend is to have a purpose-driven brand that is human-centered and that creates brand-oriented culture. So what does that mean? So when we talk about human-centered, what does that mean? A human-centric strategy represents values such as transparency, authenticity, and empathy. What does it mean? Very easily, employer brands must have human characteristics. One way how you look like a human is to encourage diversity and inclusion activities. For example, we at the Danfoss, we activate them through planning. Let me just click here so you can, while I talk, you can have some uh, video on background. So we are Danfoss. We are activating it through event planning, which are followed by employer brand activities. So we have, for example, this was the online campaign we have having on for girls and women in the STEM. For example, where we go further, more concretely, we are currently running new content campaigns where we're asking our employees to send us the picture for International Women's Days, which one is coming. This year theme calls Embrace Equity, and people supposed to represent themselves in the picture of self-hugging. So we are asking our employees to send us the content, send us the pictures. We are right now collecting it, and we will be basically activating it online as well by concrete campaign. We are planning events for all kind of diversity inclusion activities as health days coming in, I think like April, May, Pride, and more. We are as well planning. We will gonna have soon our first TED Her talk, which one our women in Danfoss community is creating. And these sessions, this series will be on encouraging women to step up their games, to flow within the organization. As we know, there are mostly more masculine based at the moment, but we, for example, we wanna break it and go for more equity. All right, then other way how you can be human-centered is by your conscious effort to humanize your brand and a visual expression. So in order for a brand to stand out visually, it must be humanish, which means that it cannot be too perfect or too staged. You want to look on authentic, real people. It's important that your brand visuals or brand identity shows ordinary people doing ordinary things, the things of everyday life at your company. Engaging is important that you will engage through personal and genuine employee stories. This would be definitely the trend we will see a lot of companies following. Uh, then another way how to be human-centered is to deliver personal digital experience from attraction to onboarding and further. Um, what does it mean is you want to engage with candidates confidently on every touch point. What does it mean? You need to understand that all the journey has multiple touch points, and all the touch point your company is representing yourself. You need to, for example, resolve complaints or concerns on all those touch points, share the content with all those touch points. You would like to aim for creating inspirational messaging and maybe a bit humorous way of engaging with the candidates emotionally. The employer brand should be a person that candidates and employee want to hang out with. As you can see, it's all about candidate experience. People who are happy with the process, with your process, they will be walking and talking bluebirds for us. So always think of that. Uh, and now let's talk about what does it mean brand oriented. Um, you might as well ask yourself a question, how you can be more consistent as an employer brand. So brand-oriented culture means that the company lets its employee find their own ways to talk about the employer brand to the outside world. Brand-oriented culture also means that the company shows its employees how to act in a way that it fits with the employer brand. It does mean that you need to educate your employees on it. Brand being a brand on having brand oriented culture basically means doing internal branding. And there are three conditions which one you have to do if you wanna build your culture around your brand. First condition is that employees need to know what the brand stands for, how their action affects the brands of the building brand. And for that, you want to educate your people. Second, employees should care about the brand, but they want if they don't know what it is and what the values the brand represent. So again, you want to educate your people. Third, they need to have the skills and resources to communicate the employer brand values to candidates when they talk to them. And again, third times, you want to educate people on it and you want to give them resources. So at Danfoss, this is our priority number one. What we are doing right now is through our internal communities, our internal branding activities, we are allowing to share our brand cross segments, regions, and functions. We made our employer branding portal. We are making now employer branding and brand academy full of social media, styling, and messaging guidelines for our employees. So in that, we are trying to help our employees to be confident when sharing something. And lastly, we will have a set of all kind of trainings and workshops. We're already running some, but that there are more to come. And here the trend is to realize that you have to help your people, your employees, build their own talent brands. You want to give them a tools so they can build their personal brand. And you want to encourage personal branding, not discourage. All right. Now let's get to the second trend, which one is building a unique candidate value proposition. So if you want to basically identify and communicate the unique benefits and advantage that your company provides. But to develop uniqueness of your value proposition, you must first understand what is the important target audience, what they seek in an employer, who are your competitors and what your competitors are doing, and who are you? Who are you as a company? What attributes are you offering? And then you want to tailor messaging and communication. These steps or this trend will allow you to be specific, and being specific means being relevant, and relevancy sells while irrelevancy annoys people. So how you can know your audience, yourself, and your competitors, it's through measuring through different surveys and through different survey basically, or qualitative interviews. So here is my tip to especially measure your candidate experience. You can send out the survey to your candidates. You can measure candidates net promoter score, candidate satisfaction. Same you can do with your employees. You can as well measure things like hiring time or conversion, and that helps you to identify the opportunities for improvement. When we talk about the uniqueness, and this is many people during as well my workshop asking me, all right, how I can be unique? There are many companies like me. What makes you unique is not that you say, oh, we are all team players. It is it is by describing specific experience the people will experience while interacting with your brand, with your company, with your people. In sales, there is the term you can find. It calls USP, unique selling points, and this is what you wanna find out in your employer brand. And that's the trend I see more companies are following. So how do you find out what's unique about you? It is by answering as specific as possible questions like, what is it like to work at your company? How does work get done? How do teams collaborate? What tools are you using? How do leaders manage your people? How is employee work acknowledged, evaluated, recognized? What are the challenges there that are associated with your company when you work for? You want to be specific and concrete, and that experience will make you unique. All right, let's get to the third mega trend, and that's leading a consistent candidate experience. Here I'm gonna talk very briefly. I think the main responsibility here are the HR and recruitment organizations, rather me as an employer branding person. But what I want to highlight is that it's important for the companies to have a proper hiring process in a place with the guidelines and set up processes, and especially trained people. Um, Here as a recruiter myself, ex-recruiter, I know that my main problem always was that people, recruiters as hiring managers, thought that being able to hire is a skills that is given, that they just born with the skills of recruiting and hiring. But that's not true. You need to learn to hire. You need to learn to recruit. You need to learn to assess. And therefore, it's important that the organization standardize the process. For example, what we do at the Danfoss, we are right now building a learning hub. It's a hub for all recruitment activities for recruiters and for hiring managers, and you have to pass that training videos or that those training guidelines. You have to pass the certification to be able to hire at our company, because not everybody can hire. You need to earn your skills to be able to judge people and as well hire the correct people in our company. There are as well some companies which want incentivize hiring. So that means that the hiring managers are actually responsible for time to fill, for example, and they are incentivized in their bonuses if they don't deliver proper hiring experience to the recruiter, to the candidate. I think that's a good way to make accountable both recruiters, both hiring managers for the process. And of course, hey, companies need to follow the data. I think this is already for many years, many years talking about that. It's not really a trend of this year, it's a trend of many years. But again, data are important for right decision. As well, we can able target the data, build better content, personalize experience, and be more efficient. And when we go to the last mega trend, and that is deploying a digital candidate experience. So deploying digital candidate experience means creating and implementing a digital platform that enables candidates to engage with companies using digital channels. So this here can be online job posting, advertisement, digital application form, video interviews, digital assessment, using social media and AI. For example, AI can be very handy tool uh, to help you automate recruitment process, to find you right people. AI can help you create content, write a better copy, can help you to create better personalized experience. And lastly, what I want to emphasize, and that's a trend of empowering usage of video. And I understand it myself. I'm very uncomfortable being in a video. I hate my voice. I seriously wonder what my face is doing when I'm recording. You can see my face is moving. It has all emotions in it. So I can completely understand that the video is not comfortable things to do, but it is important that we do it because that's how the community, the new generation roll, and we need to roll with them. So employer branding especially need to understand this increasing importance of this tool. And you can use video in your trainings, in the virtual events, in the team building activities. I would encourage you to use platforms such as YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram Reels. And my final words on this topic, I think we can talk for ages, but what I would like to say is that 2023 will be a crucial year for employer branding, and companies will need to use technology and social media strategically. Because as you say, Tatiana, it's not a war of talent, kinda, but this is a war of companies. It's a war for attention of those candidates who are available. So you want to stand up as a company and fight with the other giants, then you would like to be good in your employer branding activities. Um, yeah, I think I'm done. If you want to know more, of course, connect with me on LinkedIn. I would love that. And bring me on your questions.
Yeah, well, thanks for a very inspiring presentation. Could I ask you two questions, if you don't mind? Firstly, it's very interesting what there are a lot of connections between marketing and between HR in the area of employer branding. But mostly when you talk about humanizing your employer brand, if I ask you about, as we know, in branding, we have an exercise when we try to describe a particular brand as a person, with their tone of voice, with their preferences, what is this person like or doesn't like, and so on. May I ask a question about Danfoss? How could you describe a person which could be represented as a Danfoss employer brand? How do you think is it these exercises could be useful for the people who now is working in employer brand area?
Yeah, hey, that's a very great question. I wish I will have a better answer. But so currently, we could actually realize that Danfoss will need to humanize our brand better. We have set up our guidelines, which one are actually available to public. We set up basically our tone of the voice we would like to have. What we did is that the all proposition we have, there are several, we set up how each proposition will talk. So let's say if we talk um, about our mission of bringing the green energy to the world, we want to be more like be more sounds like an expert leaders with an authoritative tone of the voice, but we don't want to be arrogant or confident, right? Or overly confident. We want to be shown as an expert, and that's how our tone of the voice are supposed to sound. And then with the other proposition, we have set different tone of the voices. Where, for example, when we talk about people communities, we want to be very inclusive, very more easygoing and friendly. This we need to improve, right? Because we find out we are not yet talking like a one face, one person. In the many regions, in many segments, we have the tone of the voice and the personality diverse. That's something what we right now we recognizing, and therefore we're going through a rebranding. Uh, so if you follow Danfoss and us, you will be hearing about this probably somewhere around summer or after summer. Right now we go through a lot of workshops to find out what is it that's that one face of Danfoss and what person we want to be. We do realizing as well, like in the past, and that's what we wanted to do, is to be recognized as an engineering company. So we have been very technical. But right now, as well, seeing these mega trends, we're realizing if we want to catch up with talent, we have to move our position to being the purpose-led, being human-centered. So this is where we're doing this shift. That means adjusting the text messaging to be very inclusive, slightly less formal, less corporative. You know, you want to use more authentic vocabulary. Um, so I don't have exact answers for you how we are doing it, because that's what right now we're changing. What I training, what I'm teaching on the trainings uh, of how to build employee strategies and how to build personality is I like to follow this. It calls brand archetypes. There are 12 brand archetypes, very well known, and each archetype is representing certain personality. So what I do is I do little exercises with the employees of the companies, with the hiring managers, with the leaders, and I'm asking them without knowing the names of the archetypes. I'm asking them like, okay, what do you think if you have to choose one personality? Which one do you think we are? I do a little survey or interviews with the people, and I could very find out which maybe one, two, three personality we are, because you know you are never only one. You have all kind of combinations, um, and then mostly based on that personalities, I'm start bringing up down the tone of the voice. I'm looking up. So mostly that's what I use, but I know there are many branding experts who are using different strategy. But this is the my way to go.
Thank you, Sal. I think it's really interesting approach, which could be used in employer branding. Else one more question. You talk about you want to include all the employees into employer brand promoting to make your ambassadors. How your company is doing it? How you could engage people in this process, and how could you help people to build their own personal brand and connect it with a company in which they are working now?
Mm-hmm. All right. So currently we have identified that our company thought leaders, those are, you know, like uh, um, executive people who are talking behalf of the Danfoss, and their goal is to share all thought leadership around the business and the missions we follow. We have as well a group of ambassadors. These people as well are thought leaders, and they talk about behalf Danfoss on our business topics and the higher mission of sustainability and bringing the green energy to the world. Then we have employee advocacy, and this is where we want to encourage people and our employees to share employee generated content. um, you know, just take their phone, take a selfie with the logo, with the hoodie, or with their colleagues when they meet. Not all of us in Danfoss work remotely. We have several offices, so some people work from offices, and share it within our internal communities. So we have a lot of internal communities, as you could see, and there we constantly encouraging people to share their pictures. And then as well, if we would like to use those pictures, of course, if we would like to use those pictures online, we have as well social media guidelines. Of course, as a corporate, you need to have them. where we're trying to guide people, what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. We as well launching now Brand Academy, and that means we want to teach people how to build their personal brand, how to build their LinkedIn profiles, how they can use the LinkedIn influence to become either their own brand, or ideally, of course, we trying to understand that personal brand, having if employee have a strong employer brand, it has direct benefit for us too, so therefore we're encouraging that as well, by teaching people what they can share and not. We have been not always very good in employee advocacy, so or not really clear, or maybe didn't provide all resources. What's right now we are changing, and resources. When we talk about resources, we are I'm building now a messaging guideline. So here you can share text like this or copy like that. If we talk about this is how it sounds. This is what maybe words you want to use. So I realize that many people would like to share. It's just not that they don't want to share about your employees. They just don't know how to share. They might have confidence issues of, I don't know how to write. I don't know when. I don't know where. I know what kind of pictures I could use. And they mostly don't know how to do the things. So that means if you solve that, give them those hows, then they can encourage sharing, and they will.
Okay, thank you. And the last question is from me, because I know that also Ali is an expert in this topic. This is about candidate experience and candidate experience assessment. You told what you'll study, all the people in the special learning center, how to recruit. And after that, you make an assessment, as I understand, not all the skills, but also give a feedback maybe from candidate. How is your company doing it? What is the best way for you to assess what experience your candidates have on the different stages? And,
Yeah.
and also about it, is how do you find the balance between digitalization of this process and between humanizing? Because it's two different trends, but I think it's both of them are important from the perspective of the candidate experience.
Yeah, so this is something what we are currently building, this certification recruitment academy, um, where we can see that everybody is hiring differently. We have seriously some processes which one takes a lot of time, and there are like million rounds, and then some processes which are quick and beautiful and easy. So this is what we wanna align with the digital training academy, right? So we wanna build workshops that are digitally stable on record, and people can go through them every time. Um, we building like a portals on when you, let's say, are promoted and you get to the position that you need to start hiring for the role. You will get this specific training, which one you need to go through in order to start doing it. And of course, here the crucial, and I think Ali would agree, is the relationship with the recruiters or talent acquisition partners, that the guide these hiring managers on that way. Um, yeah, I'm not sure if I answered exactly the question, but no.
But I think you give a lot of advices during your presentation and during answering your questions, I think. Thank you, Eva. I think it's really a lot of ideas. As for me, I catch a lot of ideas, which I think would be implemented in the different, especially in the developing markets. Thank you for sharing your experience to coming for us. And also, I want to thank Ali Ayaz, the managing partner of Realta company. Also, he's a leader of Employer Branding Academy. I hope Ali Ayaz will talk about it too, but it's not for incorporate, it's open for all the people worldwide who want to know what is employer brand management is. So Ali, I want to give you a microphone. Let's share the maybe the best experience and maybe some trends and your ideas about this year for employer brand management area.
Thank you, Tatiana. Eva, it was a great delivery. Thank you. I really like the idea of recruitment academy, you know. We see many failures. As you said, everybody hires differently and they tell different stories to the candidates. So to standardize it is a great approach. Well, I have been in the industry since 2007, and we've delivered more than 250 employer brand projects all around the world, mainly with multinationals. So I have some experience that I can share with you. Rather than trends, I want to start with the history of employer brand, actually. You know, Simon Barrow, who started employer brand management. This is him. And we had a long chat on Monday around more than 2 hours, actually. And we were talking about the future of employer brand management, what's going to happen, what kind of people do we need to attract in employer brand area, what kind of skills do we need, you know, because companies, when they recruit, they tend to recruit best people to other departments rather than human resources department, you know. They want to, and maybe high skilled people, they see when they are looking for future, they see the future. I mean, the top management of the company comes from other areas. So employer brand management is not that attractive. And we were discussing that time, what can we do to make it more attractive? And what kind of skills do we need in the future for employer brand managers? And I mean, our idea is that, of course, we discussed many things, but I think one of the main things is managing multidisciplinary stakeholders from all different levels, from all different departments. So this was our number one. We continue working on that, and we will have a couple of focus groups with employer brand professionals in a couple of weeks, and we will publish the results. Simon was in brand management area. He worked for Colgate-Palmolive, and then he worked for an advertising agency as the CEO. Then they acquired a recruitment advertising company, and he saw the same companies recruiting for the same positions again and again. And he said, well, why can't they keep these people, you know? Why can't they engage, increase retention? Then he came with the idea of employer brand management, and they published a paper with Tim Ambler. And it became very popular, and he created an industry. And we have the same approach to employer brand management, and I will show you. I didn't want to make a presentation, but I just want to show you this. Our approach has two main aspects of employer brand management. One is for candidates, that you need to create an awareness in the job market. If you're an old company, like Eva said, if you're a giant, if you're a multinational, you have an advantage here because people already know about you. They are aware of your company. But still, you need to keep it up, you know, with people. You need to remind them that you are in the market, in job market. And awareness is something, but then you need to create an attention, and they need to apply, you know. There is a process, there is a bonding process. They might be aware, but they might not like to work for you. Then when they're in, it is the engagement and retention. And without increasing engagement and retention within the company, if you try to recruit people, you will just increase turnover. There is no engagement inside. People come and they go. So it is a lot of turnover. You will have a big recruitment department. You will have a bad reputation in the market because you don't have an engagement. People come and go. So it works both ways. You need to increase engagement and retention, plus you need to attract people. I mean, not everybody. You have to stop many people. You just need to attract the talent that you really need. Otherwise, it is again turnover. The engagement part, I will show you this. Companies used to measure employee satisfaction. I mean, they had employee satisfaction surveys annually. Now they are measuring engagement, because engagement is different than satisfaction. There is a correlation between satisfaction and engagement, but they don't mean the same thing. We want engagement because of this and because of business results. Engaged people deliver better results. This is what we work on. And when we do a project, I mean, it's a project for us because we are consultants, but it's not a project for a company because they're always there. It is a department that you have to run every day, like marketing department, finance department, operations department. And from here, we go awareness. This part is called, I mean, Simon and I, we call this part employer branding because this is more related to communications. Communications is bit is employer branding, but the overall subject is employer brand management because we have both communications and engagement. And engagement bit is the hard stuff, really. Communications is more entertaining. You can be creative, and you have to be creative. But the boring stuff maybe is the engagement bit, and you have to go through that. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So we have a model like this. I mean, for communications, you create an employer brand image. Eva was saying the 12 archetypes, like wise, emperor, this kind of archetypes, the brand tone of voice, etc. You need to have them. But what we do, we start internally, we say, what kind of culture we have, people we have, environment we have, what are our values, corporate values or organizational values. What can we offer the EVP, emotional and functional benefits? You know? Then communications, controlled and uncontrolled, because your employees, interns, vendors, they take a lot of information outside. Plus, you have controlled communications like PR, advertising, social media management, etc. Then you create an employer image, which is attractive. It has to be attractive if you are working on this. It drives people to your company, and once they are in, you engage them. You engage these people, and it goes through this funnel, which was created almost 130 years ago by a salesman. He said, yes, I want to sell my products, but nobody knows about me. So he said, I need to create awareness so that they can come and buy action, you know. But awareness is not enough if you want to do repeat sales. If you need retention, you need to increase the interest and desire of people, you know. You need to create a bonding with them so that they can buy again and again, or they tend to buy when they go to a supermarket where there are hundreds of shampoos. They're aware of you, but they don't want to buy you. So you need to bond with them. Otherwise, they will choose another product. That's why you need to create a bonding. Then they take action, and you engage those people when they are in your company. So to create awareness, there is a lot to do. As Eva said, no company has enough money. Peter Drucker says this, no company has enough money to do all their projects. So you have to go, I mean, you have to put a timeline. You do one thing this year, you increase the budget next year. Also, you need human capital as well. You need people. That's why you start with baby steps, maybe at the beginning with small budget, but in time, when they see, I mean, the top management, you are successful, they increase the budget. So to create awareness, there are many ways. I mean, as Tatiana said, we worked on, we still work on candidate experience, and we've been conducting a survey called the Graduate Survey for 15 years. In Turkey, we did in England, in Bulgaria, Serbia as well. And in these surveys, we see number one or number two information source for candidates is your corporate career website. So people, I mean, all this traffic has to be driven to your career website. Then on that career website, you do the bonding, you know, the information they require. We know what kind of information they are looking for. We ask this question in these surveys. So we know what kind of information candidates are looking for. So you give those information on your website, on your social media channels, YouTube channel, etc. You do the bonding, and then they apply for a position in your company. This is how we go through. I mean, data analysis, a lot of data analysis, onboarding survey, exit interviews, you know, exit surveys or reports, engagement survey, etc. Whatever you have. Then your competitors, what do they do? How do they position themselves? Then you understand with focus groups, deeper understanding with focus groups with your employees, new joiners, you know, the old ones, etc. Then, I mean, this is understanding, diagnosing. Then you start developing. First is the candidate persona. What kind of people you need in your company for the future of your company, you know, for your business. What kind of people, skills, personalities you need. Then what can we offer to attract those people? It is the EVP. And tone of voice, our personality as an employer, our positioning. These are all employer brand strategy, you know. Then the implementation. I mean, here you promise something with your EVP. People come and work and they don't experience it. I mean, they don't experience what you promised. You have to deliver what you promised. So implementation is also very important. I can say 50% of the employer brand projects fail here because of the delivery. You create good slogans, you know, good EVP, good communication, but people come and work and nothing happens. You cannot deliver what you promised. So it is a failure here. Implementation is, that's why important. And it has to be for each touch point. I mean, I will show you touch points. You have to create strategy. That's why we call ourselves as employer brand strategists. You have the EVP, you have corporate brand, you have the EVP. Then for each touch point, you work on how to implement that EVP. Otherwise, it just stays there. You have to deliver it when you are recruiting. You have to deliver it when you're onboarding, when you're doing performance appraisal, everything. Again, you cannot do all in 1 year. You have to start with the most urgent ones. Okay, allocate some budgets. You work on them. Then next year you can do more. I mean, for example, most of the times it starts with recruitment, really. That's why I appreciate what you did at Danfoss. And we worked with IBM. I mean, not as a we worked on a project, and they told us, I think it was 5-6 years ago, they did a survey globally, and 46% of the recruiters, almost half of them, 46% of the recruiters said they made a mistake in the last 6 months. So we can say 46% of the recruitments are wrong. So half of the people they recruited, they were not right people for the position. So imagine you are recruiting people, they are coming into the company, and you think this was a wrong one. So it is a good starting point, the recruitment. Then, EVP development, first the candidate persona. I mean, it starts like this, but you then refine and it becomes like this. Then EVP, what makes our company as a special as an employer? What can we offer as a corporate? These are the first steps of developing an EVP. Then you work on it, you refine it. And Eva, in your presentation, you mentioned differently, you said when we promote different ideas or to different people. I mean, we call it TVP, tailored or target value proposition. It changes according to region, because sometimes we work with a German company and they have operations in Turkey, operations in Bulgaria or China. So regional changes you might have, divisional changes. I mean, you recruit engineers, but you recruit finance people as well. So different type of people, different personalities. Sometimes talent group, I mean, engineers, but different engineers. In IT, you have developers, you have database managers, etc. So different talent groups. You might have a TVP, I mean, your EVP plus one or two more attributes in your EVP. It becomes TVP. As I said, we develop the strategy, then the implementation strategy we develop, for each touch point. We say sourcing, for example. You can recruit from universities, colleges, you can recruit professionals. And for sourcing, you can do maybe 10 things: social media management, campus recruitment, your website, etc. Maybe 10 things. So for each of them, each touch point, you need to think about a strategy that you will deliver your EVP. Then marketing plan for communications, what you're going to do, how you're going to measure it, when is the time. You cannot just post 3 posts on social media, on Instagram. There must be something behind that, okay? And you know how to measure it. Otherwise, it is just 3 posts a week. Then internal communication, which is a different story, because people are working in your company. So you have to convince them, and you ask a question about it. Tatiana, you said, how do you onboard people? How do they become your brand advocates? It changes according to the company. When we are going through the diagnosis stage, the first 2 months, maybe understanding what company offers, what kind of people that they work with, we find a couple of things that will change people's mind. When you start implementing here, 70% of the people will not believe in you. Okay, only small people are waiting for the new EVP. They will maybe 10% or 20%. So 70-80% will not believe in you. You have to do something that will make them say, oh, there's something changing. And through that diagnosis stage, you find it out. You find a couple of things that will make an impact in their lives, and they will believe something is changing. Then measurement, you can measure it in many ways. I have a free book online, and I think 5-6 pages is on measurement. Of course, employee engagement, turnover rates, etc. Then social media, tribunals, many things. You can measure it in many ways. And when we go through a project, we create all these things. We start with understanding. It is a typical project management. Understand, develop, implement, and measure. So we first understand what's going on, what is the situation of the company in job market and internally. What do we need to change to align it with the business? Because the business has a vision. So we need to align the people to the vision of the company. Then what kind of people we need for future? How can we attract them and keep them EVP? How can we deliver the experience that we promised? Implementation. Then are we successful? It is the measurement, you know. Even though when you're successful, I mean, your company might change its strategy, you know, every 5, 6 years, 10 years, companies change their strategies. You can see their logos change, you know, the tone of voice change. You need to align with your people as well. I mean, you might need a different strategy. Or sometimes the external environment of the company changes, like COVID, like I mean, anything can happen externally. A war, so you need to adapt it. You might need to change things like with COVID, we changed all human resources management. People started to work from home, everything changed. So you need to adapt both to internal and external environment. You need to adapt. And you might need to change it. You might need to restart. Like your finance department works, I mean, every day to increase profits or to keep at the same level, they do things. Marketing department, they have competitors. I mean, internally, we don't have competitors as human resources department. That's why we are relaxed. But externally, we need to fight. So we need a new different point of view, like marketing department. That's why employer brand management is, I say it is the contemporary human resources management, because you need to adopt new skills. So this is not, I mean, for me, it's not a boring bit, but developing strategy is not that entertaining. Then this is what our company does, and we talk about this in Employer Brand Academy. You see, on my presentation is Employer Brand Academy. Then we have a sister company where they do the communications, you know, to deliver the message. So I can show you, I mean, I can show you a couple of examples from them, what they do. So they have internal communication events for Vodafone, for Corsa, and reinforcement company, for tires, for buildings, etc. They do many things, you know, welcome kids, you know, welcome card, the profile of the newcomer, what he likes, what kind of food, what kind of music, movies, board games he likes. So it is an icebreaker when someone comes into the company. There is an icebreaker. Everybody says, okay, they start talking. So there are many things, there are many ideas. Town hall speeches, you know, instead of TED talks, they had TF talks and internal, you know, this is a mobile application. So they do all the human resources bits on that mobile platform. This is Coca-Cola bottling. It is their Explorer game, all designed by our sister company. They're in communications. There are 45 people there, and they know this business very well. We do the strategy, they develop the communications, both internally and externally. So internal recruitment event, data navigators, and recognition and rewards, TF talks instead of TED talks. People need to be trained to make presentations for this. This is an expat kit. I mean, when you go to, they had operations, I think, in 8 countries. When you go abroad, for example, to Pakistan, you have a kit that tells about the country, you know, the smell, the herbs, basic daily communications. So for each country, they created a kit. For Turkish Telecom, it is a recruitment event. You see, you know, all different things. For Unilever, I think I've been working with Unilever around 14, 15 years now. And they also do the communications as well for recruitment. So PepsiCo, as I said, Vodafone, Colgate, Reckitt, etc. So, I mean, this is an entertaining bit, but
It's like a huge training, express course of employer brand management. Right now, this is important topics which you should take into account, I think, on all the stages. Um,
Yes, I mean, this communication is for all the touch points, you know, from recruitment to performance management, recognition and rewards. So they do the communications. I mean, they encourage people to participate, etc. And externally for recruitment, they run events at universities, but they all are related to the strategy. They don't do it without a strategy. I mean, communication requires strategy, a communication strategy. Plus, you need to know your target audience. When we do the project, we develop the candidate persona, who is the target customer, you know, who you are going to work with. So you need to know the target audience. Plus, you need to know what message you are going to give. I mean, what you are going to propose, EVP. So once you have them, they start communication. You see, they start creatives here. I mean, maybe it takes up to here, maybe it takes 3-4 months. Then they are ready, they prepare the communications here. Then for each touch point, for each implementation point, either it is recruitment or performance reviews or recognition, they create communication. Again, it is maybe a little much more, I mean, it needs more budget than developing a strategy. Yes, if you have questions, I can get them.
Ali, thank you for your so complex presentation. I have one question for you. You told, well, on the slide, you told what you need the ATS system and also a CRM system. As a part of your process for employer brand management. What I want to ask, when we talk about marketing, we understand that customer relationship management system is a part of our strategy to communicate with customers, current customers or the potential customers. ATS system and recruitment were used for tracking the candidates from the first touch point and through the process until it become our employee, or maybe we lost it on any of the stages due to the different reasons. When you show CRM also as a part of this process, could you tell a little bit how HR could use customer relation management systems as a part of its employer brand management process?
Yeah, we put it in on purpose, you know. Everybody has application tracking system when it is recruitment. But if you want to create bonding, you need to create content according their needs. They want to know. I mean, people come to your website, they visit and they go, you know, 80% of the time, there is a company called Clinch Talent from Ireland. Shane Gray is a good friend of mine. And they analyze career websites, corporate career websites. Most of the times people come, see the job ad and they go. But if you have interesting content, they stay. They come a couple of more times. And when they visit more than 2 or 3 times, their tendency to apply increases. I think it increases around 70%. And these are good people. So, I mean, if you don't have this interesting content, CRM, they bounce, they come and they go. And your efforts on your employer brand management, employer brand communication, it doesn't work. They don't even see your great EVP. You need to have interesting content for the people. When you create candidate persona, you say, what are their interests? What they are looking for? What are their aspirations? You know, what are their goals in their career? Once you know them, it is very much related to CRM. And you create content according to them. Or if you follow them, you know, if they give the consent, of course. You create content according to their needs, according to their personality, interests. And also you can send them new job openings in future. Of course, they need to give consent. Or
Which
they
would be
can,
appropriate for him.
yes, they can send it to their like-minded friends. So it is a relationship management there. You need to understand your customers. I mean, of course, candidates. And it is candidate relationship management, not customer relationship management, but candidate relationship management.
Yeah, so because from marketing perspective, you come to HR as
Yes.
a candidate. Okay, thank you, Ali.
You're
Dear colleagues, Eva, Ali, thank you for entering us for this webinar. If you don't mind, I will ask you maybe share some more materials. As Ali said, you have a free book. And Eva, if you weren't, you told in the beginning, but they have two ebooks too. We are ready to promote it for our audience. I think after meeting you on other webinar, we could be ready to get more information from your experience. Really, really interesting, really global. So I write about it, and I hope that in the future that all the people who registered for this seminar, for this webinar, could give some additional information for our participants if Ali and Eva decide to share with you.
Yeah.
Thank
Can
you.
can I say one more thing? We have an employer brand hub. It is free. They can register and they can meet with like-minded people from all around the world. We have discussion forums, etc. So they can exchange ideas.
That's great. Ali, I hope you could share the trusted information, and we are ready to send it to our audience. I think it would be interesting for them. Eva, Ali, thank you for your time. Thank you for your expertise. Thank you for sharing your ideas. I wish you a great year, a great day.
Thank you.
And I hope to see you again online or offline on different events. And also we are staying in touch in social media and through email. Thank you and have a good day for all for today with us. Thank you.
Have a lovely day.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Tatiana.
Just a minute, please.